Hey, it's Keith. It's been a while. Just wanted to show a project I've been working on for, gosh, it's probably 3 years now. But I've been building an airplane in the garage. So first off, I'll turn this around, give you an overview of the build. So like I said, I've been building in the garage. So first off, to get everything set up, the airplane just fits in here. I got about 2 feet of space on the back, and I'm building a Zenith CH750 STOL, which is the short takeoff and landing version of their popular aluminum model. And you can see the front end, I can just get the garage closed. Right now it's hitting that fuel line, so I'm going to hook that fuel line up today to get it out of the way of the garage. And I do have a hangar ready to go in Glendale Airport here in Arizona. I'll be moving out there in the next couple months, but right now it's just so convenient working on it in the shop that I try to do as much as I can out here. So this the wing stand, wings are built and sitting on the stand. I got the engine mounted. It's a Viking 130 engine. Just been working on all the wiring for that. So right now it's a rat's nest of wiring with all the service loops and stuff all loose, but we're getting there. And then there's the panel so far. I'm trying to do absolute minimal panel that I can. So in the top left there is a UAVionics AV30E. I'll be running a tail beacon X for ADS-B and transponder. On the right there is a MGL V6 radio, and then the Viking view is kind of that boxy thing in the center. That's the engine instrumentation. I just have a little ELT remote for an AC-04 ELT I got. And then on the right are the 3 fuel gauges. So left wing, right wing, and the header tank. This takes a header tank with some fuel pumps for a direct injected 130 horsepower engine. And then I just have all the switches for the engine down there. So battery 1, battery 2, fuel pump 1, fuel pump 2, let's see, the alternator, and then the Viking view. Then the starter, and then I just added 2 switches the other day for main and avionics. So the main will power, like flap motors and indicators, trim motors and indicators. Avionics will be obviously all the avionics, and then the fuel gauges off that. And then they have dual brakes, dual throttles right now. The brake lines aren't finished running yet because right down here I'm trying to install a parking brake. I'm just having a little trouble getting the geometry right on that to, so that I can have a little lever there to pull it on and off. All the interior is built. The seats are built. I just have all that stuff out at the moment so I can finish doing all this wiring, flight controls, little header tank back there. Wheels and tires are on. I just have these Aero Classic 21 by 8 by 6. It says tube type / tubeless. I'm running them tubeless, just straight from the Zenith factory. And there's the nose wheel, is just another 21-incher up front. Radiators installed and all the plumbing for that. The tail surfaces are all built. So rudder, horizontal stab, elevator are all built. They're already out at the hangar along with all the, the bubble doors and windows and windshield and stuff like that. I've already moved out there. Over on this side, I've added 2 panels. This one is going to be to access the rudder cables, and then I'm putting the ELT in right there. I'm going to try to finish that up today. And then that door goes to the fuel tank, the header tank. So to get to work on the plane, first thing I had to do is pull my wife's car out. And then this bench is on wheels, so I'll pull that out. I got a couple toolboxes back in here where all the motorcycle storage used to be, but that's all the tools. And then all my fancy Harbor Freight woodworking tools have been pressed into service here. So a little bandsaw, drill press, and then this, I've used a lot on this build. It's just a bench grinder with a buffing wheel to kind of deburr the edges of aluminum and just shape all the corners and stuff. So a bit of a mess right now, but we're getting there. I'll wheel all this stuff out and then show you how we're working on it. Now the shop setup. So a little more about the plane. This is, you know, the wings. I've got everything completed. The fuel tanks are in there. So these are the feeder and vent hose for the fuel tanks. And then I have the wiring in there for the wingtip strobe lights. I got those Aero LED strobe lights. So still got the exhaust in there, and you know, all the fittings for the wing struts, and fuel filters. All my electronical stuff is all still in here, antennas and such. I have a Duck, I don't know, 3-blade prop. Really pretty. It's black with these orange tip stripes. And I bought this. I think it's a experimental aircraft. Gosh, accessories, something like that. I'll try to put it in the comments where I got this from. But hey, I found it. It was experimentalaccessories.com is where those two access panels are from. Anyway, it's super handy. It came pre-hinged with the latches and everything. Just had to very carefully cut a big hole in the side of the airplane, you know, and mount these doubler plates and get them all primed and such. I got this from the same place. But anyway, here's the fuel tank. So I've got 2 fuel filters, so those will eventually be piped in from the wings into the header tank. 2 fuel pumps in there, and then a level sensor. So as soon as that starts going down, you know, you just have the 3 gallons worth of header tank fuel left to get it on the ground. And then it basically all feeds in there, and then it'll feed out through this line eventually up to the front of the engine. And then just a fuel pressure sensor, and then all the wiring for that. So power for the fuel pumps and the fuel level sender, and then grounds for each of those. And I ran them each separately up to the front of the airplane, just for redundancy's sake. Front, so there's our flap motor, and then the fuel pump wiring, and then the wires basically that'll run all the way back. That one will be to the ELT, and then the other ones go back to the trim motor. And those all weave their way up here. And then it's just, I just followed Viking's instructions for setting up all the engine electrical on its own thing, and then a 30 amp fuse going off to the other stuff, which right now is just the main and avionics switches powered there. That's all the engine stuff, and right now the ECU is just hooked up through its own little fuse while I do testing on there. It's for the gearbox. It's the coolant bottles down there. Fuel line, you know, run up. And then over here, that's where I need to hook it up to this, is the engine-driven fuel pump right here. Otherwise, gearbox temperature sender, the oil pressure sender. Still working on getting this air filter to fit. It kind of bumps up against the engine mount here, so tried a couple different solutions, haven't come up with the perfect one yet. There's the you know, the throttles, so dual throttle here. And just ran the throttle cables for now. You know, some clamps, but then just zip ties, and starting to buffer up where it might rub here on the engine case. On the intakes. For that fuel line, I just ran it underneath. It keeps running through a couple of pickups all the way back. Right now I have it entering right back here. So all the fuel, pressurized fuel, should be outside of the actual pilot cockpit area. You can see it comes out of the radiator shroud here and then back. I just have it grommeted right now with quite a bit of slack, because I'm not sure exactly how much this landing gear drops down. I'm thinking that's a bit too much slack at the moment, but I'm sure that landing gear flex a little bit, especially the way I'll probably land it at first. And then, you know, there's that header tank, and it's mounted to its own little brackets up in there. But anyway, I'll be moving out to the hangar here shortly, and then I can you know, bolt the wings and tail on, get the flight controls hooked up, and start buttoning this thing up. I'm hoping to fly by the end of the year. So if somehow you ended up here as your first Zenith YouTube video to watch, I'd highly recommend Joe's RC Corner, where I got this shirt from. He's building a cruiser. M. Hildebrand is also building a cruiser. I think he's in Florida somewhere. Kit Plane Enthusiast, another great one to watch. He built a cruiser and is now building a Super Duty. And then Scott Matthews in Australia has a really good cruiser build thing. So if you're looking for how to do stuff, I would look at theirs. I just kind of wanted to throw this out there to show what I'm building, and hopefully I'll make another couple videos as we get this thing closer to flying. Anyway, thanks for watching.